Hey everyone, Eric here. So today we're going to talk about a book that, well, it seriously changed my whole perspective on time. It's called 4,000 Weeks, and trust me, this is not your typical productivity guide. It's more like a much-needed reality check.
All right, so let me just start by asking you a question. It's simple, but honestly, it's pretty intense. If you're lucky enough to live to be, say, 80 years old, how many weeks do you think you actually have in your entire life? Just, take a guess.
The answer? It's about 4,000. Yeah, that's it. Just 4,000. When you actually see that number, man, it feels ridiculously short, doesn't it? That's pretty much all the time we get on this planet. And realizing that can really spark a lot of anxiety, right? It's what sends us down this rabbit hole, searching for the perfect to-do list app, the perfect morning routine, basically anything that makes us feel like we're in control. The author, a guy named Oliver Burkeman, he was actually a productivity columnist, so he literally tried everything. And what he found was that this whole approach, this obsession with managing our time, it's just a giant trap.
So that brings us to the first really big idea in the book, what he calls the efficiency trap. Basically, it's all about why our best efforts to be more efficient usually just end up making us busier. I know, it sounds kind of backward, but it's a super important concept for understanding his whole argument. Okay, just think about your email for a second. We've all been there. You decide, all right, today's the day I'm getting to inbox 0. So you start firing off replies, super fast, super efficient. And what happens next? Well, people reply back to you just as fast. So your reward for being so great at clearing your email is, you guessed it, a whole lot more email.
And this really gets at the core of my flawed thinking. We operate under this assumption that, yeah, I can clear my to-do list, I can master my time, but the harsh reality, it's just not true. Your to-do list is basically an infinite conveyor belt. The faster you pull things off, the faster new stuff gets loaded on. You can't control time. You can only experience it.
So, what's the result of all this? Well, this trap, it leads to this constant, chronic impatience. I mean, come on, who here watches YouTube videos on double speed or gets super annoyed waiting in line for coffee? That's because we feel like every single second has to be optimized, has to be used. We're treating time like a resource to be squeezed dry instead of a life to actually live. And honestly, it's robbing us of just being present.
Okay, so if trying to do everything and control everything is the problem, then what in the world is the solution, right? Well, this is where the book gets really, really good. The whole idea pivots to something that sounds kind of radical at first, but is actually super liberating. We have to fully, completely embrace our limits.
I mean, we all know this one, FOMO, fear of missing out. You're just scrolling through Instagram or whatever, and you see everyone else's highlight reel. They're traveling, they're getting promoted, they're having the time of their lives, and you just feel like you're falling behind. That anxiety is a massive reason why we feel this pressure to do everything, all at once.
But the book introduces this amazing antidote, JOMO, the joy of missing out. And guys, this is a total game changer. It's about accepting that you are absolutely, 100% gonna miss out on almost everything that happens in the world. And not only is that okay, it's actually great. Because once you accept that, you're free to intentionally choose the few things you really don't want to miss out on. It's about being deliberate and joyful in your choices.
Now, this next quote, it might sound a little harsh at first, but stick with me because it's so wise. It says you have to strategically underperform in some areas of your life. Look, you just can't be a 10 out of 10 at everything at the same time. It's impossible. So maybe you're crushing it at work right now. That might mean you have to accept being just okay at, keeping your house perfectly clean or being the most responsive person in your friend group. And that's not failing. That's being strategic. It's about consciously choosing where to put your finite energy.
All right, so the philosophy makes sense, but how do we actually do this, like in our real lives? Well, the good news is the book gives us 3 really concrete actions we can start taking, like today. So here they are. First, pay yourself first with your time. This means you decide on a fixed amount of time for your most important work, and when that time's up, you're done. You stop. Second, embrace boredom. Just practice doing nothing sometimes. Don't just automatically grab your phone the second you have a free moment. And third, prioritize curiosity. It's about following your interests just because you're interested, not because it has to lead to some productive outcome.
So why do these things actually work? Well, that work container thing, it kills procrastination and perfectionism because you have a clear boundary. Embracing boredom, think of it like going to the gym for your focus muscle. You're training your attention. And those so-called useless hobbies,
Man, following your curiosity just for the heck of it, that's often where real, lasting fulfillment and creativity come from.
All right, let's bring it all together. For me personally, this book was a massive wake-up call. I used to be that guy, totally obsessed with all the productivity hacks, trying to squeeze value out of every single minute. My calendar was packed, but I still had this nagging feeling like I wasn't doing enough.
And then it just clicked. The whole point isn't to clear the to-do list. That's never going to happen. The point is to actually experience the life that you're living right now, to be fully present for those few things you've chosen to do. The goal isn't to get everything done. The goal is just to live.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. It's an invitation, really. Now that you know time isn't just some resource you can manage or optimize, now that you know you have a finite number of weeks and you can't possibly do everything, what will you truly choose to do with it?
I really hope this gave you guys something to chew on. It's a fantastic book. I seriously can't recommend it enough. So hey, if you like this breakdown and got something out of it, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and maybe share it with a friend who's also feeling a bit overwhelmed. And definitely let me know in the comments if there's another book you'd like me to cover. All right, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.